Alright guys, we are going to be looking at the circulatory system today. What the essential questions we'll be looking at in the PowerPoint is what is the main function of the circulatory system and what are the main organs associated with the system. So the circulatory system delivers oxygen, which is O2, and nutrients to all the cells in the body, and carbon dioxide, which is CO2, and waste to the lungs through the blood vessels. So all this happens through our blood vessels, our arteries, the whole circulatory system. The main organ in the circulatory system is the heart. It's the pump that pumps everything in and out. The blood vessels are your arteries, veins, and capillaries. The two systems in one of the large circulatory system is, the first one is the pulmonary circulation. It sends blood from the heart back to the lungs and back. So your pulmonary system are these main two right here. They go either from the lungs back to the heart or from the heart to the lungs. And we'll talk about the red and the blue in a little bit. The second system is the systemic circulation. It sends blood to the rest of the body and back to the heart. So these are your main systemic circulation. So it sends blood to the body, and then it picks it back up and it sends it back to the heart. So the pulmonary circulation, the lungs are where the oxygen and nutrients are picked up by the blood. So for our muscles and everything to form, and our cells to form like they should, they have to have oxygen. And so when we breathe in oxygen, which gets picked up by the alveolus. Right here, these little berry shaped at the top. And they actually transfer the oxygen that we breathe in to the blood system. And then it also exchanges the carbon dioxide out that we breathe out. And waste. So carbon dioxide and other waste that is released from the blood. This happens in the alveoli. It's air sacs of the lungs. They kind of look like little raspberries up there at the top, but they are in your lungs. The systemic circulation provides organs, tissue, and cells with blood so they get the oxygen and other nutrients they need to function. This is accomplished through the blood vessels, which are the veins, the arteries, and the capillaries. The largest blood vessels have names, such as you've heard of your jugular vein, the main blood vessels are the aorta. It's the main artery of the heart carrying oxygenated blood to all parts of the body except the lungs. So the aorta, which is on your right hand side down here, it comes from the heart and it carries the oxygenated blood to the parts of the body. The vena cava, which is on your right hand or left hand side, is a large vein carrying deoxygenated blood back to the heart. So it's picked up the waste, it's picked up the carbon dioxide, and it's going back to the heart. The superior vena cava returns blood from the upper body. And the inferior vena cava returns blood from the lower body. So you have two of these vena cavas. Superior is coming from the upper body back down to the heart, and the interior is coming from the lower body back up to the heart. So the heart is a muscular organ about the size of your fist, It's located just behind and slightly to the left of the breastbone. It pumps blood through a network of arteries, veins, and capillaries. It's also called the cardiovascular system. So some people call it the circulatory system, some people call it the cardiovascular system. Now, you have 4 chambers in the heart. You have the right atrium, which if you're looking at it, you think, oh, that's not the right, that's the left. Well, a lot of your medical students have to know that looking at it, it might be on your left, but it's actually the person's right if they were facing you. So they've got to kind of learn the opposite. So the right atrium and the right ventricle is on your left side, but the person's right. And then the left atrium and the left ventricle. They're valves, if you can see. They're kind of blended in a little bit, but they're valves that are located between the chambers to allow that blood to flow in and out. So valves of the heart control the flow of the blood through the heart by opening and closing during contractions. It allows blood to flow in only one direction. The mitral and the tricuspid valve control blood flow from the atria to the ventricles. So they go from the aortic kind of valve and your ventricles. Let me try to figure out what I'm saying. Okay, so they come in the body through your mitral and tricuspid valve, and they flow into the atria and the ventricles. The aortic and the pulmonary valve control blood flow out of the ventricles, so they control the blood going out of the ventricles. So arteries and veins. Red represents the arteries carrying oxygen and nutrients away from the heart to the body. So how I always thought of that is like our blood is red. A lot of people think it's blue, but it's not. They're like, oh, it's blue till it hits oxygen. No, it's always red because blood has oxygen already in it, so it would be blue all the time. But it is red. So for the diagrams, when you see red, that's your oxygen-rich blood. That's the good blood going back to your body. So it's going away from the heart to the body. The blue represents that carbon dioxide blood and waste blood that's going back to the heart to be pumped to the lungs so we can get rid of it. Blue, I always kind of think of, well, it's not the good rich blood that we see. It's the one that's carrying the carbon dioxide back to the lungs. But for those of you that think our blood is blue, it is not. It has oxygen in it all the time, so it would never need to hit the air or the oxygen outside to turn red. So it is always red in our bodies. Our veins and stuff have a blue tint because of the tissue that it's made up of. So movement of blood through the heart. It starts at the superior vena cava and inferior cava, bringing the carbon dioxide and waste back to the right atrium. Then it travels through the tricuspid valve, then the right ventricle, then the pulmonary valve, and then the pulmonary artery. Then it goes to the lungs. Once it drops off the carbon dioxide and picks up the oxygen, it goes back to the left atrium, then through the left ventricle, then to the aorta, and then it's pumped out to the rest of their body. This would be a good chart to look at as you're going through the work and stuff, just so you know how it travels from the body to the heart, then from the heart to the rest of the body. Your capillaries is tiny blood vessels that connect the arteries and the veins. This is kind of the Grand Central Station. I think of it as the train station where the good, rich oxygen blood that you see on the top in the red drops off the oxygen to the cells and the tissue, picks up the carbon dioxide and waste from the cells, and travels back to the heart. So it's kind of like the train station where you kind of stop and get off and get on a train. It's just dropping off oxygen and picking up carbon dioxide and waste to take it back so we can breathe it out. Some diseases of the circulatory system, and I might butcher these things, but is the atherosclerosis. It's the hardening of the arteries due to plaque. So it's mainly plaque buildup. As you can see, the yellow, that's the partly blocked blood vessel. This constricts, the blood flow. Then you have the myocardial infarction, or basically a heart attack. It's the blockage of the blood flow. You have a prolapse valve, which causes backwards flow of blood, so kind of like a leak. It lets blood go the wrong way backwards into the heart sometimes. You have what they call arrhythmia. Some of y'all might know this because this is a little bit more common that you hear about, especially in children. It's just an abnormal heart rate. And then high blood pressure. I'm sure you all have heard that before, but it makes the heart work harder. It's the pressure that it's putting out, pushing that blood through your body. Okay, so that's basically the circulatory system. If you have questions on any of the work, you can give me or Mr. Smith, I'm back now, a call or email or send us a message about the questions that you have, and tell us what lesson or what worksheet you're working on. Also, we mainly do the Google Meets Tuesday at 11:30 to 12:30. Since we're kind of in and out, we don't know which week we'll have students, which week we won't. So just if you need help before, email us, shoot us an email, we can get on Google Meets with you. Or you can do Tuesdays at 11:30 to 12:30 and get on there if you have any questions. Another thing, you're not expected to know all of these different names of the veins in the aorta or arteries or capillaries or anything like that. You mainly need to know the functions of the circulatory system, the two systems, what happens in the system, where does it happen at, the main function, the main organ, and the difference between the red and the blue models as to which way the blood's flowing and what the red means and what the blue means. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you later. Thank you.